in general terms, where do you think MIT is going? Where would you like to take MIT now?
Well, I think, as I tried to say earlier in my remarks, I think that we should really do a great deal of research and experimentation in education innovation. I think that is going to be crucial for the residential campus model. It's going to happen, and I think we are very well positioned to be at the lead of how it should be done well. So that is one area that I would like us to explore. And as you know, we kind of already started doing some experiments on that. Another area that I think is very important is the following. MIT is an amazing place with a community that works very well with each other. You see in very many research projects and programs, you see faculty and students from different departments and different schools working with each other. And that is the kind of interaction that is extremely helpful if you want to tackle a really big problem. The energy is one example of that. And I would like us to keep thinking. I have a long list, probably the same thing as the same list you would have by looking at the world's biggest problems, what we're facing. The important issue is what is that MIT can do as a group, as an institution, to address those big issues. I think that is important. Of course, a leader only leads if there are followers. So I would like to offer that to the faculty. I would like to offer the umbrella of the central administration to help make something big happen, as I mentioned, happened already with the energy. And there are a few areas that I would like to discuss with the faculty to see if there is any interest to pursuing those. So to me, I think that we need to really carry the load that we really can to solve something, big problems in the world. So I view our future is focusing on education. It's the heart of what we do, in focusing on research, because through that we actually educate the next generations that are going to be then living with the solution of the problems we're going to be coming up with. Details of that really depends on discussing with the faculty what is that they want to do. They normally have the best ideas on details of what to do, and that's a process that should begin relatively soon to explore with them what is that they would like to do.
I find it interesting, and I don't know if you guys have given a lot of thought to this yet, but so there's kind of two things going on now. One, you're spearheading MITx and edX, and this is what you're talking about when you talk about educational innovation.
Part of it, yes.
Part of it, yeah. Certainly. And then there's this other thing going on, which you're probably going to have an enhanced role in now, which is the new capital campaign and the campus's renewal and expansion plan, kind of umbrellaed under MIT 2030. And I'd be kind of, a lot of questions I think the faculty have raised, and I'm sure you've read about in the faculty newsletter, among other places, regarding the balance in the campus expansion plan between academic space and commercial space. And we know President Hockfield has one view on that. But I'm kind of curious whether you see there's an intersection of these two things. So you're talking about how the campus residential education model is going to change so much, especially with new online technologies. And when that changes, do you expect the physical campus to change to reflect that? And if so, I guess I don't see that in 2030, right, in the 2030 vision right now.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. I think for the next 10 plus years, I don't see the change in how much physical academic space we're going to need. I don't see that shrinking. What I see is a slow transformation, and perhaps in some areas not as slow, of how we use that space. So fewer, perhaps, less utilization of large classroom auditorium environments for lecturing and do different things. Right. And I don't think the large auditorium lectures will go away. We just appear less frequently. Instead of 3 or 4 times a week, you do it perhaps once a week, once every other week. So it's more about how we use the space. I don't see the future of the academic campus in terms of physical space shrinking whatsoever. 2030 doesn't have details of how we're going to use the space, but there is an activity that Mari Schmidt and Israel Ruiz are spearheading, in which are looking at teaching and learning spaces. Right. And we're going to be looking at some of the recommendations of a faculty student committee to implement them. So that is bound to happen sometime soon. I would like to, of course, a transition allows us some kind of a reset and just checking what we're doing. So I don't think that we're going to go fast ahead with everything we started without any assessment of it. is worthwhile to do it. I think on 2030 and the issue of commercial space and academic space, there is some misconception, partly because perhaps the information is not really known, perhaps it should be shared better. So there is a lot that we can do and learn on how we have done things to do things moving forward. But I think if you were thinking that perhaps part of my dream of the future is we won't need academic space or buildings, if you extrapolate, I don't see that at all. I think there is no way that for the foreseeable future we can replicate the environment we have on campus online. Online is a tool to assist and enrich and allow us to do on campus what works best,
Right.
and take the parts that don't work as best online, but not to shrink the
Right.
academic.
No, yeah,
campus.
sorry, I didn't mean to suggest that. I thought maybe your vision was not a smaller academic space, but certainly changed.
Changing the academic space, absolutely. And I think, you know, as I said earlier, leaders don't lead if there are no followers. I think that has to be examined. I would like us to examine it. I would like faculty to tell us how it works better for them. A new classroom environment for chemistry is not going to be the same as that for computer science. There is no formula, everything fits. But I would like that conversation to take place. I think it's extremely important that we imagine a future right now in which we'll have online technologies. We should imagine that is going to happen even as we are experimenting, and imagine, okay, so how do we use the space in that world in which that's available? That's the question that I posed 5 years ago to DOE and MidSet, and we are, you know, it's relatively slow moving. For some people it's moving very fast. For me it's moving very slow. 5 years of discussing this is a little slow, but at the same time we do need to understand where we're going, and we do have to go methodically so that we can make the right decisions.